Hey guys, we're here with the after credits post game wrap up kind of thing. We just finished um, figuring out what was going to happen with their poor fixer Larry Four Fingers. Um, who has something they want to start talking about first?
Well, I had asked a question about losing body parts
Oh yeah,
and the
so
interaction with
um,
essence.
essence loss occurs when you are installing foreign bits into your body rather than when you lose stuff. So Hex could theoretically go around for the rest of her days with a horrible ringing in her head and not being able to hear anything and never have to worry about losing essence. But I believe that is not the intention that she has.
Probably not, since that would suck badly.
Um,
Can we use her DNA to grow her ear back somehow?
Absolutely.
Even
It would
cultured,
still cost essence, I
yeah, even
There,
think.
cultured BioWare costs.
there's there's some I don't remember what it's called in Chrome Flesh, but there is a zero essence version that you can get done. They're fairly expensive.
Extremely expensive, I guess.
Yeah. Um, but it was one of the things that I talked to Hex about during the time in between sessions about, hey, something interesting happened to your character. Let's uh let's see where that takes us and what do you want to do? Which I guess we could move into to Hex talking about.
How did it
Uh,
look like?
Quick question: should we get rid of my, pass, do the story thing first, or do you want to
It's up to you
talk
guys.
shop and then complete it?
Oh, what story thing?
Uh, Jet bringing over some
Oh,
uh,
we
boba tea and not getting maced, or can we handle that offline
you could handle that offline.
or
We could
off the
handle
stream?
that as the start to the next session.
Okay.
It's up to you guys. Um,
Actually, doesn't sound bad for the start of the next session, by the way.
yeah. Um,
Yeah, I was just thinking cinematically,
yeah.
as the credits play.
We covered this over two sessions or three sessions.
This is
Two.
the second session.
Too.
Okay,
We skipped last week. So.
that's fine. You guys can go ahead and pick up 12 karma because I kind of forgot about that.
Oh,
Nice.
That's very generous with the karma.
I mean, you guys helped out both a teammate and a contact with pretty significant. As I look at the table here, that has like 10 to 15 grand worth of expenses. So you didn't exactly
And- Are we gonna work over how we're splitting the bill afterwards?
Yeah, it's up to you guys if you want to. Because I think from the way it was broken up, no, okay. I'll leave how the money is broken up to you guys because I don't really care. Um, but yeah, Hex, how you feel about how everything went down?
Actually didn't feel horrible. I thought it might have been bad, but actually that wasn't bad at all.
What do you mean by you thought it
How
might have been
bad?
bad?
Exactly. Like what could have we done?
Elaborate.
Well, No, by bad I mean I think it could have potentially gone a lot worse with one bad thing leading to a lot of bad decisions one after another you know just well he's he hurt our teammate, so you two go run and get this person to the hospital, and then we'll go chase this guy down and make sure they pay for it, and I mean it could have led to a lot of bad decisions.
Bad decisions are interesting decisions, but decisions nonetheless. Um, I like that you guys decided that you know what, we're gonna we're gonna not be dumb here, and we're gonna go ahead and say you got us. and kind of gave him up, as it were.
Well, I mean,
Hmm.
hunting down 2 trained assassins would probably stretch several runs,
Maybe.
or several sessions, rather.
Don't forget, they're also
Maybe.
looking for you.
Yeah.
Also, consider the fact that they are very good at hunting down someone. They may not be nearly as good at not getting hunted down.
Those are true statements.
Things go their way when they're in position with Matilda like 8 stories up and 3 rooms over from where you think she is and already looking at you through the barrel of her gun, but you know.
True, but we didn't really
Well,
have
she
any
did.
data to start from, and as far as the shadow running community is concerned, Duchess is one person and possibly just a legend at that.
That is another interesting bit of information that you bring up. As far as the wider shadow running community is concerned, those things are true. We know better, which means we have pay data.
I mean,
Well, how much is it worth? If like I bet like there are people who. Oh, actually, that's a good question. Are there
We've
people
got
that
photos of
lived
them.
through
We've
their
got
hit?
video of them.
there are people who would be interested in that kind of information, especially since you have um, descriptions, corroborating evidence, that kind of thing. But you guys are square for the moment,
Yeah,
so if
Yeah, unless we end up on their bad side or we put them
That
down at some point, it
we
that's
just
the other
paid
just
thing.
like
Is
doesn't.
25K for that to be square.
that that potential pay data is also potential leverage.
yeah, but that particular bear has gone to sleep for the moment, and it's whether or not you want to poke it again.
I'd say we save it until we need it.
Yeah, I like to have that in our pocket.
Yeah, I think having it and not needing it is probably the best policy right now.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure it got brought up where everybody is aware that that's a thing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, no, I was really kind of curious as to where you guys were going to go to get out of this mess, because there's a couple of options.
I'm really
I
happy
I
with
was
what
just
we ended up doing.
yeah, I'm actually really happy, but I was like concerned, like how what you described, Hex, seems like hot-headed. Did we come across as hot-headed, like with Dante and like Jet, you know, taking control of over his anger all the time, most of the time?
Well, no, but it's like, rough circumstances can sometimes make people do like strange things.
And that may have played out differently if Hex hadn't decided to live.
Yeah,
That's true
Well, it
too.
could.
honestly, if Hex had kicked it, as far as Jet was concerned, he'd deliver him to the mob, with gift wrap.
And then
Nice
there
little
is always the question of Matilda who killed the Hex, so might have been different.
Yeah, that would have been
Might
a
have led
long
to
time.
a showdown with them once and for all.
Maybe.
Yeah,
And
I
also,
think
the
this is-
primary concern is getting our teammate safe, and then figure out how to get us safe.
right. I like how it turned out. I can't really think of a way that we could have done that more deftly.
And I believe like Sue's way, since no one actually got hurt in a way.
I
So-
prefer to think of it as our way.
Just two other things I had off the top of my head is like you could have gotten in contact with the mob and arranged to do a job for them to square things up, and that would have been a thing.
Well, that's the thing I was kind of proposing, but I guess everyone was sort of scared of getting in contact with the mob.
Well, this puts a nice bow on it.
Lightly, just throwing that out there. It's just probably not something that should just, be jumped on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Jet has a serious, like, not only does he have a conflict of interests, dealing with the mob, but he also knows enough about how, how that stuff goes on that he wouldn't want to even get involved with them.
It's a slippery slope.
Right.
Yep. Because then it
Just as I
becomes
said.
hey, you guys still owe us for that favor. Nuh-uh, we were square. I said you still owe us for that favor.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um, the other air quotes easy thing that I had in mind is you could have called up Miranda and Frank, your protective services cops, and convinced Larry to go into protective custody for giving up a bunch of criminal information.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. That's something maybe our characters would come up with. I was never actually thinking about this since.
Yeah, I don't think our characters would have. Nah.
Snitches get stitches.
That
Yeah.
doesn't get us paid either.
And it
Well,
gets
Well, yeah,
us
the money
more
was-
in
was-
bed with the law, and that's not necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, and I don't know that we really want to put Larry in a fucking interrogation room and told to talk.
Yeah, I believe like we opted for from the very beginning to somehow get him out of the city, regardless. Like if Hex lives, it doesn't mean that Larry has to get into any more trouble.
I believe
I don't
many of
know.
us opted for that.
I would
Well,
like
yes.
to see Bam's role play with himself, Miranda talking to Larry.
It
Can
it
that
would
be a deleted scene?
it would be a very short conversation as she does not put up with any of his bullshit.
Doesn't mean he would stop trying.
She would just spell him, so he would just.
Or
Tell the
slam
truth.
his head into the metal table?
It'd be like
No,
the
that would be
Batman.
Frank.
No, I can see Miranda doing that.
That
After he
sounds
Frank.
hits
fun.
on
Maybe
her
we could still-
relentlessly.
No,
Hmm.
I'm happy with where it went. How
Yeah, I like
we
our.
did it. Even
Yeah.
hearing those other options, I'm pretty happy with where we went.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
Yeah.
none of them would have tied everything up the way that did.
right. If
It
you
almost has a happy ending sort of
Right.
feel to it.
it has a dystopian ending to it, where at the end of the day, nobody wins, but nobody loses.
It's as
Mhm.
close to a happy ending as you can get in Shadow.
Yeah, for Shadowrunners, that's actually a good thing.
I don't know.
I'm
for
pretty
100
sure for like 30 new yen in the right places in the Barrens, you can get a lot closer to a happy ending than that.
Heyo.
Waka waka.
So, um, if you guys didn't go through Leon and Matilda, I would have hit you guys with notoriety for killing your fixer. Um,
Mhm.
That would have been tough.
what's that?
So another good thing.
Like,
I said that would have made life kind of tough. Hey, we need another job from somebody else. We killed the last guy that gave us jobs.
it would have only been
To
the
be
one
fair,
because it wasn't like you just no reason murdered him. Like there was a bounty on him and like that kind of stuff in the shadows is documented. But like, hey, they turned on their guy for a price. But it'd be the kind of thing that like you guys would just have to accept because if you're like, no, we didn't, then it's just like,
Yep.
We
Like
need
our
to
only
turn on
recourse would be.
Body. I mean, yeah, like that would go over well.
yeah. But yeah, no. Do you guys have anything you like? This is our time to talk about what we've done, and ask questions about reasons, thoughts, mechanics, really whatever it is you want.
I was thinking about there were like plenty of places to put in complications into that kind of a mission. Just Leon and Matilda asking more, or I don't know, the mob finding out somehow, or
Well,
I don't know, places that things could go wrong. How willing are you to do that for the sake of just
that is
the
on you
story?
guys to have things go wrong. Like,
Mhm.
if you guys had gone with I know, let's chase them down and find out where they live and kill them, because that will stop bounty hunters. Like, there would have been, it's like, okay, now the mob wants Larry. The general bounty hunters of the area want you guys, just for, like, that's not how this works. If they come after you, that's one thing, but to go and hunt them down is a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you guys went to one of your contacts to do your triage. Larry rolled really high on his having a guy that owes him favors thing. So that prevented a lot of the uh, paperwork problems. Like, if he had rolled lower, they might have tried to, like, not tried, but more or less forced you into buying like a dock wagging contract to pay for Hex's treatment, or you guys could have just gone with the street docs treatment, which would have had different potential problems because he's doing it in a veterinarian's office as opposed to a doctor's office. Um, like, there are other issues there. One of the consequences or complications that I added is I kept nickel and diming you for money. I was hoping that we
Mm-hmm.
were going to get to a point where you're like, guys, I don't have any money to do this. But sadly, I didn't.
Yeah, Jed has been
That
saving.
would have been great.
You guys just ran out of cash. The to pull it back a little bit, there was going to be a like, even without the Vinny stuff going down, were you guys making a big mess and pissing off the mafia, there was going to be an issue with Larry getting in trouble because that is the kind of person he is. He's always been unreliable. It was originally going to be the woman that he took down the cow free and then abandoned was the daughter of some other Yakuza guy, and leaving her in cow free is going to piss him off, especially when she doesn't come home and is missing. So then it's like, Larry's thought process is like, oh, it'll be fine. She'll show up in a couple of days. I just need you guys to keep me safe for a couple of days. Unbeknownst to him that she's not coming back out of Calfrey for other reasons. Maybe kidnapped.
Or starting a family.
No, definitely the kidnapped thing. Because that's how I have you guys fight a bunch of ninjas.
How is Larry? How has he lived as long as he's lived? Like, how did he get to the point where he knew us?
Where he had only 4 fingers and no hands.
The same way he lived with you guys is he was just barely useful enough to not be worth turning in.
It was kind of weird that this happened because it seemed like he had just started turning around. Like, he had us working for him. Like, he had a couple of successes under his belt. Oh, of course, that's when you get self-destructive and stupid. Okay, I got it.
I mean, not even just that. It's just this was the job that you just did with the mafia was just a good time to have something bad go for him because the mafia were doing some kind of job with some kind of Vinny was doing some kind of deal with Dolph from the Vori, which you guys don't know the details about because you haven't looked into it. So when that deal falls through because Vinny is gone, that makes a lot of upsets a couple of people in the mafia, and since he's gone, they can't just like let that insult stand. Whereas, like, if he was around, it would be on him to redeem some of his honor and save his face. But now that he's obviously dead,
Somebody's got to pay.
yeah, the mafia's got to kind of step in and be like, all right, well, we don't really want to do this because we don't care about him too much, but if we show weakness if the Yakuza think that they can just kill one of our guys and we're not going to do anything about it, that we can't have happen because that's bad for business.
Here's another organized crime question. So, we worked for Larry.
Uh huh.
We did a couple of things well. You mentioned that he was kind of selling that back at the home office.
Yeah.
Do we have a reputation with, like, his colleagues?
I was actually kind of asking that before, that we could maybe check in with the Yakuza and try to sort of get a job to get one of theirs out of mafia trouble. So that might be along the same line as Sue is now asking.
You you could explore that option. I will let you guys know that the Yakuza are very racist because that's how Japan is in the sixth world. Um, so immediately mark off any of you that is not human as good,
We
like, nah, they'll be our friends kind of thing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and even Hex is in a little bit of a trouble. Like, she has points because she is Japanese, but she loses points because she's a woman. Um, so like
Hmm.
you guys could attempt to work more in depth with them if you wanted to explore that route. But for now, from the sounds of it, you're going to get a much more organizational, neutral fixer, which I will leave up to Dante to come up with who that is.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. Actually,
Yeah,
two.
let's say it.
One, if we had duked it out in the street, what do you think our odds would have been going against Leon and Matilda?
Is that a question leading up to our fight uh, with the you know who and
Texas Red.
serial killer?
Um,
I mean, you know, like now that it, like in that specific situation, the situation that we were in.
so in the actual fight, it was really only Leon, Matilda, and then Jet and Dante were in like the actual fight. Everybody else was running. Um, and in that situation, it's a you need to dodge every one of Matilda's shots.
I think we would have gotten Leon, but we had no way of getting at Matilda.
Yeah, I meant if we had all gone in on it. Not,
If
I mean, you know,
if you had all gone
Hex
in,
aside.
they probably would not have. Um, they probably would have broken from the fight because there's no way they're winning 5-on-2.
Okay.
Um,
Although, I don't know. Once they take Hex out, we're going to find it very difficult to get to Matilda.
yes and no. Like, while it would be difficult to get to her, all you guys need to do, like, if you guys take Leon down and then you split up, it's really hard for her to, like, she only gets one shot a turn. And if any of you guys, like, get a shot on her, she's in a way worse position
Yeah. Okay.
because, like, it's 5-on-1. And that's not
Okay.
even including things like if you get line of sight on her, you can cast magic at her from wherever you are. Um, you could send spirits after her if you know where she is.
Yes, that's something I wanted to say earlier. Like, I totally forgot that you can do magic and stuff, and I was like looking for her normally. So you could have maybe used the spirit power. That would be quicker.
Yeah, like you
Oh
did
no,
have
that
her.
wouldn't be quicker. It's 10 minutes, right? So.
No, no, no. So like you had her physical location from the trace icon. So you could have
Mm-hmm.
summoned up a spirit and been like, I need to. At worst, you project, go up to where she is, tell the spirit, wreck her day, and the spirit's like, yes, sir. Or like, point to the window. I need you to ruin her day. Whoever's in that room. Um,
So it's a little bit more straightforward than with a drown.
sort of. Well, like you knew her physical location. You were trying to do opposed perception and stealth tests to find her in the room, like to see her through
Hmm.
the glass and stuff. Um, Magic doesn't have those kinds of issues. It's just like I know there's somebody in that room. I'm going to tell my spirit, go materialize in that room and wreck their day.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then the spirit's like, yes, sir. Um, like you could have had your roto drone just suppressify the room. It wouldn't have done a whole lot, dependent upon like what you have it loaded with, because you would have been shooting into glass, like
Hmm.
into a building. But it would have at the very least like made it. No, I probably would have applied the same penalties because like then she can't see through the glass to shoot at things because there's bullets hitting it.
I thought you said that she was in a room and her gun was in the next room over.
No, no, no. Her gun was on her. Her uh, bag or her gear or whatever with like her comlink and her RCC and stuff in it were in the next room over.
Okay.
Speaking of which, the RCC is because she has an Ares a dust off, the like medevac drone,
Okay.
because uh, it can land on rooftops and she can get in and she can fly away.
Isn't that like quite a huge drone?
It's a large drone. It can fit a person in it to do. It's for like medical evacuations.
I understand, but it's like I was wondered because they have like there are some options that I didn't explore just because they're like really big and unwieldy, like the
Hmm.
bomber drones and
Some
other
other
stuff.
some of the drone sizes seem weird. Like the micro skimmer is a micro drone the size of a frisbee,
It's just
but
really
the
thin.
yeah, but the next bigger one is the size of a large insect, the fly spy, and that's in a bigger category.
Yeah, don't think
I
about
could
it.
just I try not to.
The Forbidden Arcana has introduced me to a term when we were discussing it on one of the threads of mechanical illiteracy.
Yeah, that sounds pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you encounter that, like, do you just decide that the fly spy is micro, or do you just go, it's a bigger bug sometimes?
Usually I just treat it as being a fly size because, like, that's what it is, right? That's what it's there for. The fact that it is listed as a mini drone as opposed to a micro drone is not really
Right.
relevant. Like, the dust off is a larger drone because it is big enough to put a person inside. Like,
Right.
it is there to carry a person sized thing from A to B.
So it's like a body bag with rotors.
Yeah, like a flying coffin.
Okay.
Okay,
Um,
I have another question.
yeah.
Now that Larry is effectively out of the game, will
Mhm.
we ever find out why he lost his pinky?
Um,
Or rather, what he did to make that necessary?
I
Uh,
never thought about it.
Ah,
Something
okay.
dumb.
The
It's kind of boring and,
well,
anticlimactic.
Yeah.
the the fact that the pinky is missing is the important part. The how or the why is not. Like,
I was actually wondering about that earlier in the game. Like we've been calling him Larry Four Fingers the whole time.
mhm.
Surely he's not the only Yakuza that's missing a pinky.
um, probably not.
But maybe that's his only characteristic thing.
It it's a very defining feature when talking about a Yakuza person.
Because that means that they failed very badly, but not bad enough to have them killed.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was thinking is there's got to be like a few guys like that.
Yeah, it's just this is the one that you were uh, interacting with on the regular.
Is that what he called himself?
Um, it was probably the kind of thing where it became a bit of a street name
Like Vinny the Fish.
Yeah.
We could have gone with like Barry, Harry, or I don't know, Carrie.
Well,
There
I
are a
mean,
lot
that I
of
can see. Like, he fucks up, he loses his pinky, you know, he takes it like a man, but he still gets razzed about it. Then it becomes a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody chooses their nickname.
Just ask Vinny the Fish about it.
well, it happens more than you think, I guess. People are want cool nicknames.
I mean, we all choose our nicknames in some aspect when we make like online aliases. Except for me, I got mine off a random name generator back in EverQuest.
Yeah, but in real life, you know, if you try to make up your own nickname, you're just going to look like a jerk.
Maybe that's what you want.
Sometimes.
Ask Vinny the Fish.
He probably loves telling that story, but like an altered version of that story where he just beats the man to death.
Yeah, I get the feeling he leaned into that one.
Yeah.
Somehow
I mean, he
think he's
killed a guy with a fish, you know? I mean, that's something, man.
Yeah, just kind of beat him to death with it. It's kind of great. Um, but yeah, no, was there anything else you guys wanted to talk about?
I think we're okay.
No. Hex, you gonna send me a list of the ears you want to buy?
Um, yeah, I can send it to you. Nothing fancy though.
No, that's
A
fine.
list of the years? How many years are you going to buy?
Probably two.
More than likely.
You you're
Did you
connected.
put your phone in your pocket there?
Sure. Like I said, they
Or are
tend
you
to come
just
in
happy to?
pairs.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
I love the idea of Hex trading deafness for an addiction to cyber ears and just getting like 10.
I need more ears.
Yeah.
Like the little girl in Futurama has that ear on her forehead. Yeah, I guess we could talk about that for a little while. So, um, talk to Hex for a bit afterwards about to whether or not um, they wanted to burn Edge. And when it was decided to, it was like, okay, well, what do you want to do? And Hex started talking about some negative qualities, was looking at some of the dissonant stuff, and I brought up the idea of just horribly maiming you. Um, and seeing what you wanted to do there, because it's like, you know, we could have had your eyeballs explode from the pressure wave of the bullet going through you. Um, but Hex was like, nah, I want ears. So
Well,
she isn't like mechanically deaf. It's just like you don't have ears at the moment that function properly. Because like when a runner burns Edge, they're already making a pretty serious statement about the situation. Like Hex is out 15 karma for that point of Edge that she just lost, and on top of that, she's also going to lose a point of resonance because she's going to get some cyber ears. But that comes with other benefits. Like I know you talked about getting antenna for some noise reduction. There's now some more essence to play around with to get things like cerebral Bruce triggers or that kind of stuff.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Which is kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, that point of resonance is huge, though.
It's big, but losing 1 point isn't as big.
Yeah, I know. I've been thinking about it too.
Like if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's a possibility that Jet will get some enhancements in the future.
I just need to
I mean,
shoot him in the face.
I was thinking willingly.
Oh, well, that's always an interesting thing. Like the adept that I played for a little while. I should say a little while for a while. Um, she was, 5 foot nothing stick. Ended up getting a super thyroid gland to try and like re-kickstart that puberty to not like be a shorty pants. It didn't work out all that well.
Yeah,
But-
I'm trying to figure out how to square it. Of course, I may end up getting shot very, very badly and have to get it. So
Yeah, like what kind of enhancements were you thinking about?
Yeah, it seems like the kind of thing where you say, "This is what I'd like to get. Could you please try and horribly shoot me here?"
Well, that's kind of like why when Hex got shot, I was real vague on the terms of how she was shot, because it's like let's see where this goes. Like, I don't want to shoot you in the shoulder and take your arm off when you're gonna want to get like cyber arms or something. Or
Or that might be actually the case,
yeah.
because like cyber arms and getting off shoulders. Well, but in your experience, just like last question, maybe, how beneficial is it to trade your purity of essence for modification? Like I guess it's usually worth it, but every magician and adept and like technomancer and everything always kind of shun getting rid of essence, because
So
that sort of makes you restricted on how much can you actually, how powerful
ad-
can you become.
adepts are really easy because they have a one-to-one correlation. Like a singular power point is basically a singular point of essence. So
Hmm.
I could spend a power point and get 1 point of agility, or I could spend a giant pile of Nuyen and half a point of essence to get muscle toner 4 and get 4 points of agility for the same rough cost. Um, with mages, it becomes a little bit more dependent upon the thing, like logic, intuition, and um, words. Logic and intuition based mages can get a bit of a benefit out of their cerebral boosters or cerebellum boosters to raise their attributes, in addition to a couple of other. Because, like, once you've got those things, you have some space left over to put other things into. And there are certain things that magic cannot replicate. Smart links are a good one. I'm a big fan of mnemonic enhancers, which just give you flat knowledge skill bonuses. They are ridiculously good. Um, I like internal air tanks. Cyber limbs let you do all kinds of crazy stuff, smuggling compartments, um, so on and so on. Because like as a mage, your other option to boost your attributes is through like quickening or sustaining foci, and learning the spells, and then casting the spells on yourself, and then having them, and that has other issues. Um,
Yeah.
Technomancer's in a similar situation with the brain boosters and that kind of stuff, um, where you can fit a lot into a single point of essence if you save the money to get like betaware.
Hmm.
I don't like saving up money for Delta because it's a crazy price increase for a very small um, essence savings, with the exceptions of things like if I have options to grab it, I'll grab like a Delta data jack because it's basically nothing, or Delta Smart Links because it's like 10 grand or something for Delta Smart Links. Um,
If I wanted to upgrade, for example, my rigging thingy, a grade from like Delta to Alpha, I would just pay the difference in this game, or
uh,
what?
it is a completely different piece of wear. That's how
You
it
Okay,
also
is.
so
wouldn't get back any essence.
I wouldn't want it. I mean, I don't need my essence.
You would have an empty hole that you can fill with more stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
um, that's about it. If you wanted to go from like standard control rig 2 to standard control rig 3, it would just be a paying the difference and the extra essence and stuff. But like every once in a while I will see people come up with, "Hey, I want to build a no essence human who's just as normal as normal." It's like, "Okay, you are shit." Because I could build a version of the character that is just mechanically superior in every way, shape, or form. Because having an essence of six, if you are not awakened or a technomancer, doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah. Well, it's a little different with a shaman. Like I've looked at some of the stuff,
Yeah,
and not only is there a
there's no direct augment to charisma.
yeah, and there's I mean there's also a sort of character, I guess, element to it where it's something that a shaman would be less into. It seems like.
Maybe. Um, I know a guy who played a character that like awakened later in life, so he already had like a data jack and cyber eyes and stuff. And
Yeah, that would.
there are benefits to that kind of thing. Like technically, you're supposed to lose dice for uh, like spell casting modifiers, like casting at dark. If you don't have thermographic or low light vision, you're supposed to get casting penalties. But
Right.
um, cyber eyes help get around that because they're actually part of you as opposed to using technology. Things like vision magnification is part of your natural eye, your your cyber eye that you paid for. Um, while all spells are like line of sight casting, you still have to be able to like identify what that thing is to hit it with a fireball. It's like,
Right.
is am I fireballing a tree over there, or am I fireballing a person?
Right.
Actually, indirect spells are a bad choice or a bad
Well,
example of that. But
the first shaman I think I read about in any of the Shadowrun books like used to be a decker and then kind of became a shaman later, so that makes more sense. But the whole idea of like, okay, I've got six magic, I've got six essence, and like I'm totally in tune with the natural world and everything, but if I chop my arm off, you know, I can be super strong on one side. I think I'm going to do that. That seems like a weird move.
yeah, well, it all depends upon the situation. You know, you could have a situation where, like with Hex, you were out of your body, flying around doing something, and somebody took a shot at you.
Yeah. Well, no, that like I'm kind of forced into this kind of seems like the only story way to justify that. Like there's not going to be a point where I would be like, "Oh, I think I'll get some tailored pheromones cuz I got my real pheromones shut off in the war."
Oh, my pheromones.
It hurts.
I get shot in my pheromones.
Right. Then I could be the one that people need to smell to be charmed by.
Ugh.
I'd have large pheromones.
You can actually see them floating in the air.
Germans pheromones.
Um,
Ooh.
but yeah, does anybody have anything
Um,
else?
Any
kind of
long and
admin.
complicated questions?
Do we know how long it's going to be before the next session?
Um, Probably a couple of days just to give Hex the opportunity to get her ears, since she has money, um, and for things to kind of settle down. Um, unless Dante wants it to be a significant period of time, it can be.
No, no reason.
No,
Whatever
okay.
people want.
Yeah, probably like a week, just to like, I mean, probably like at least another 5 days, just to kind of like uh, give Hex time to get her shit together, um, to get Larry out of the city, and to just kind of like chill.
Okay, so now if we want to get stuff, do we talk to you or to Dante?
You can still talk to me. That's fine. Because like
Okay.
Dante's gonna do a thing, then I'll probably do a thing, and then make one of the rest of you guys do a thing, and we'll see how that kind of rolls. To see development and ideas and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I set up my magical lodge in the meantime?
Yeah, like you guys have a couple of days. We we've gotten out of the immediate oh god somebody is dying in the back of my van situation.
Plus, we've got the assassins of our back, supposedly.
Supposedly, yeah, you guys can write them down as one of those like 1-1 remember these people exist contacts.
Really?
Eventually, I'm going to have to contact the Technomancer, and I guess a good deal for that would be explaining how I had to replace my ears, and then being like something feels off.
Maybe.
Do we have any change in rating for or name for Larry or the Mambo?
Do you have like a connection for her or
1-1,
I've got her.
Miss Cleo.
I've
okay?
got her
So
down
you
as a
just
1-1.
so you just have her
Are we?
down as a remember she exists. Um,
Tallis Monger, kind of.
we could put her down as like you guys have gone back to her to do a thing. We can put her down as like 5-2.
Oh, so she's really well connected.
It just depends upon which circles you like. She was able to produce a body.
Well, we
I
were
can
able to
That's
get you a
produce a
fair.
towel
body.
with nail polish.
Like
That's fair.
you know,
What stats does Larry have
uh,
now?
you might as well just leave him at 1-1 because he's going to be out of the city and unavailable for a little while.
Okay.
Like,
Big Bob?
uh, if you have bought something from him, you can increase his loyalty by 1. Did he have a
I
connection
did.
before?
He had
He's at 1 for me.
Did I give him a connection for anybody or?
I have him down as a 3-1.
Yeah. If you have bought something, you can make him like a 3-2. But otherwise, you can just write his
Okay,
connection as a 3.
cool.
I need to buy something from him.
I mean, vehicles are nice to have.
Or drones.
That will carry him around.
I mean,
There is like a drone wheelchair.
the steed.
I want to pick up rating 2 skill jack and skill wires from Chrome Dome
Yeah,
and have them installed while I'm not around
sure.
for the next session. The highest rating on those are 6, so or not rating, availability.
Yeah, it's no big deal. With a very uncomfortable procedure. But
Yeah,
man, you had a lot of money laying around.
yeah. With
You
this
did.
run, that puts me up to 62.
Damn.
That's after buying a 13,000 million giant monocycle.
But I remember you said you like exchanged every bit of karma for money.
Every single run.
And I'll get that to you.
I haven't even thought about it. Really, the next thing I want to do takes like a really long time, so I don't know if that's feasible.
Well, initiation is a pretty big deal. But we can talk about some of the more specifics after that.
Yeah, we sort of. You should probably go to sleep, people.
You should probably
Probably.
stop drinking wine.
At like
Buy
I
a hand
ran
in the
out.
morning?
I ran out of wine a while ago, so
oh dear.
Question is, red or white?
white.
Good choice.
Breakfast. Of course it's white.
You think about stuff like that? That's way I like you.
Dude, I've been drinking mimosas all day.
Lucky y'all, unfortunately, I have to drive at work, so they don't let me drink mimosas all day.
Well, you could choose to. They don't let you.
They don't let me. It's kind of unfortunate.
Uh,
All
It's
right, then,
almost like
guys.
driving vehicles. They don't want you.
It's been fun. I look forward to seeing what happens next week.
on
Go and
Shadow
discuss
Walk.
your character with the dungeon master, the game master, Bams.
Maybe. Just show up with whatever pile of cheese I decide to.
You're gonna play a pixie.
Nah. I know
You are
exactly.
literally going to play a block of sentient cheese.
It's like
Oh.
Sir Barrington.
Awakened Limburger.
The most frightening of Lindberghers.
It's on fire.
Alright, guys.
Ugh. All right.
I will talk to you next week.
All right. Have a good night.
Peace.
Happy 4th.